In this video, we're going to look at 7 shots which players mess up. These shots, they should be easy, but somehow we get them wrong. I'm going to demonstrate the errors. I have plenty of experience in this area. And top player and coach Adam Fuzes is going to show us how to do these shots properly. Watch through to the end and let me know how many of these shots you also mess up. Let's go.
Oops!
First up on our list is a high backspin ball to your backhand. You've done a good pendulum serve. Your opponent has pushed the ball back. They've misread the spin. The ball's come back high, but it's still got plenty of backspin on. And look, I've messed it up. I've hit the ball straight into the net. Now this is a very common error. When we see that the ball is up high, we can have a tendency just to hit the ball a bit too flat. But in this instance, the ball is high with backspin. So even though the ball is high, if you hit through it too flat, it goes down into the net. Now we take a look at Adam. Same thing, side spin serve, push comes back high, but Adam spins the ball. He's just giving it that little bit of lift to counter the backspin. And now this goes safely over the net and onto the other side.
Not again.
Next, the wide serve to the backhand. Okay, what am I doing wrong? There's a really obvious flaw. The serve is coming very wide off the side of the table and I am moving with my right leg. This is completely twisting up my body and forces me to reach out for the ball. I have no control over the shot and I make a mistake. Now let's take a look at Adam. Adam is moving with his left leg, which allows him to get his body right behind the ball, and then he can play his usual backhand topspin shot. So by moving with the left leg, even though you're coming out of the table, you're much better balanced, you have a very good body shape, and therefore the shot becomes much easier.
Yeah. That's better.
Why?
Next, we have the deep push. I've done a backspin serve. Adam has come in and pushed the ball deep. And look, I've messed it up again. What have I done wrong this time? Well, 2 things. Number 1, I'm just too close to the table. So as that ball is coming very deep, I have very little space to play. This forces me to rush my shot. Ball goes into the net. And number 2, I'm not using my legs. I'm too upright. The ball's come deep with plenty of backspin. Without using my legs, I'm just relying on my arm and it's just not possible to get enough quality to get the ball up over the net. Now let's look at Adam. And as you can see straight away, he has given himself more space. So when my push comes in deep, he's actually got room in which to execute his loops. And look at how Adam uses his legs. He gets down low, he pushes up from the ground, and that gives him a lot of momentum as he plays these loops.
If you like this video and want more coaching tips, please join my online academy. You'll get in-depth courses, training drills, video analysis, real-life coaching sessions, and much more. Sign up at tomstttacademy.com.
Next, we have the slow spinny loop. Your opponent serves, you've pushed the ball back, and then your opponent does this spinny loop which arcs up over the net. And here I am. I've got a bit scared. I've stood up too tall and the ball has pinged out of my bat. And there's a couple of crucial mistakes that I've made. Number 1, my bat angle is way too open. There's so much spin on the ball that if your bat angle is open like this, it is going to jump up off the end of the table. And mistake number 2, I'm way too passive. I'm a bit intimidated by this slow spin, so I just kind of slightly just prod at the ball and the spin is way too dominant, and again it jumps up off the end of the table. Now let's look at Adam. Now Adam's bat angle is much more horizontal. He gets right over the top of the ball to control and counter the spin that I generated. And number 2, Adam is playing a much more positive stroke. He is counter top spinning my loop, which means he is accelerating and brushing over the top of the ball. Therefore, he can control my spin and send it back aggressively.
Oh boy.
Next, we have balls which come to your crossover. This is this area between your elbow and your hip of your playing hand. Awkward to deal with. And as we can see, we're having a bit of a backhand exchange, and then the ball comes into the crossover and error. What am I doing wrong? Well, biggest error is I'm not moving. So as that ball comes into my elbow, I get all scrunched up and I can't play a proper shot. Related to this, by not moving, I'm forcing myself into a more upright position, so my whole body shape has gone wrong. Now let's look at Adam. When that ball comes into the crossover position, you can see the rotation. He opens up the space so he has room in which to play his top spin stroke. Adam is active with his feet, ready to move. So anytime that ball comes into that crossover position, he can make that slight adjustment to give himself the space to play a good quality forehand topspin.
Wow.
Next, we have a short floaty ball to the forehand side. I've started with a float serve. Adam has pushed the ball back, but only lightly, and the ball has stayed above the table, but without much spin. And I am over hitting my shot. I am sending it long over the end of the table. What am I doing wrong? Well, when the ball is a bit floaty, you really don't need to lift it that high. And this is the biggest mistake that I'm making. I'm lifting the ball up too much. There's no spin, so it sails off the end of the table. Now let's look at Adam's forehand flick. Same thing, I've given him a floaty push, but Adam's swing trajectory goes forwards more. He doesn't lift the ball up over the net and off the end of the table because there's no spin. He goes more direct.
Embarrassing.
And finally, the smash. Okay, I've opened up. I'm on the offensive. I've forced Adam back from the table. He sends the ball high and then I've dumped the ball into the net. What am I doing wrong? I'm not moving. The ball is in the air and I'm a bit static just watching the ball, which means by the time the ball bounces, I'm pretty much square on. And that forces me to almost slap down on the ball, sending it into the net. Let's see how it's done properly. Let's take a look at Adam. Same thing, he opens up. I lob the ball back high, but as the ball is in the air, Adam is moving into position. He is getting himself more side onto the ball, and then he can rotate and he drives through the ball rather than slapping it down. So how many of these shots do you also struggle with? Let me know in the comments below. And if it makes you feel any better, I regularly mess up these shots. And even a player as good as Adam, he messes them up sometimes too. That makes me feel much better. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I'll have more videos coming soon.